Master Jonathan Field here, and in today's video, we're going to go over defensive against modern weapons. So stay tuned. Welcome back. So just like I just mentioned, we're going to be discussing self-defense when it comes to modern weapons. Not back to the ancient time when you had like defense against full staff, swords, kama, nunchucks, etc. We're talking about modern weapons like firearms, modern knives, clubs, baseball bats, pipe, crowbars, stuff along that line. Now, when it comes to self-defense, just hand-to-hand combat, it's still extremely dangerous, but the second you add some kind of weapon to the element of any situation, it becomes extremely dangerous. So what we're going to do, we're going to break this into three parts. We're going to talk about firearm, we're going to talk about club defense, and we're going to talk about knife defense. You can have small pocket knives. You can also have longer bladed knives. Let's talk about this. Now, the knife is a very intimate weapon. The thing with a knife is very personal. I personally fear a knife more so than I do any other weapon, as far as a club or a gun. That the knife can accidentally slice you in the heat of the moment. Now, a lot of times in the martial arts, when we talk about knife defense, people have very static ways of attacking. We're going to go for like a forward thrust, or a downward stab, or maybe just like diagonal cut on different lines. True, but a lot of times the attack stops there. What people do is they'll do one stab and they'll hold it, or they'll do one like this and they'll hold it. You gotta realize if somebody coming at you with a knife, you're gonna be able to retract it. And it's not gonna go forward, you're gonna go forward and back. And if you're, let's say you're really experienced and you're able to deflect that blade or push the hand across, you also gotta remember that arm is not gonna go across. It can come back, right? So that's quick. That's the thing. A lot of times people will actually get cut with a knife by accident, just out of pure reaction of their attacker, where the attacker is reacting, they accidentally cut back. And the thing with a knife, as you saw in the intro, you can go real quick and like just cut like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times real quick on your main artery, the throat, the nose, the face, the body. And not everybody's just gonna hold a knife like this. Maybe if they're trying to hold you to their throat to get your money or something like that, and they're like bugging you. A lot of times, people aren't gonna let you know that they have a knife. It's not West Side Story where they have a knife. I have a knife, you have a knife, we both know we have a knife, and we're gonna kind of foul out in a movie scene. That's not reality. A lot of times, if I have a knife, I'm not gonna let you know. Like for instance, I have a knife that's sitting in my back pocket that I can already engage based on the skill level I have. Of course, you know, if I'm like sitting here and I feel like my life's different, it could happen that quick. Now, this knife, here in Canada, it's illegal to have any type of knife that has a button, or like I can't shake it. I actually have to open it up to be able to use this knife. But I have the skill to be able to open it. But here's the thing, with any type of knife, again, nobody's gonna know until it's too late. Now, a couple of little indicators, people sometimes, you know, if I'm just standing here, you can't see the blade until it's too late. And a lot of times, that's how people are gonna hold a knife. They can start slashing, they can slash and stab real quick without you even having a chance to react to it. There's actually a number, they did a study back in the 80s with police officers where a person was 21 feet away and the police officer had their gun and they're trying to draw it while somebody was coming at them with a knife. In 1.5 seconds, the person with the knife was able to reach the cop and start stabbing them over with a rubber knife. So imagine if you are 4 or 5 feet away or 5 feet away at a conversation distance and somebody's talking, boom. It's that fast. There's nothing you can do about it. There is a couple indicators though, like body language, it's a situation escalating or somebody's getting really pissed off at you. Also, if somebody's approaching you and they're hiding one arm, so like instead of being kind of coming up square, they're hiding one arm behind a little bit, that's a good indicator that they have some sort of weapon. It could be a knife, it could be a gun, and then they come in, boom, boom. They come in that quick. So, with a knife, you want extreme distance, something in between you and the opponent. You also want to have really high skill if you're going to even think about dealing with a knife. I personally don't ever want to deal with a knife. I'm going to stay as far away as possible. I'm going to try. My number one option is to try to run away if I can. Or use something besides my body to get away that knife. If by chance that, I know the person had a knife, I'm going to try to make sure that person can't move that knife. Whether I pin the knife in the hands of that person's body so they can't cut me, or if I grab hold of that person's arm or hand with a knife, I'll make sure that they can't let go of that knife, and I'm going to pin it to my body so they can't use it against me. I need extreme control over the knife, no matter where it is. Whether it's on my body or whether it's on the person's body, I'm going to control this knife. I will not allow the knife to be misplaced. And that's the other thing. You can hit so many different directions real quick. I'm not even a knife fighter, but just knowing the martial arts and working different angles and knowing the body, how many times did I just strike 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times in a matter of a couple seconds? That's really scary. The second weapon I want to discuss is a club or a stick, a baseball bat, or a lead pipe, a sledgehammer, anything along that line. You know what? People can even take like a broom handle, an umbrella, things or anything that can make it to a club. Now this is just a basic extreme stick where you can move extremely fast with a stick and strike at multiple angles. A lot of times when people practice like club defense or stick defense, what they'll do is somebody will strike and then they get on them. They overestimate when somebody is here how long it's going to take before the stick comes back. But in reality, pop, I can come back. The second I hit, boom. Now, that was a lighter weapon. If somebody had like a baseball bat or like a sledgehammer or heavy lead pipe, there is going to be a slight delay because the weight is going to kind of hold them. So it's for that split second. But if it's like a lighter, shorter weapon, it doesn't take much to start flicking, right? And the most dangerous part of any weapon like that is the last 20 to 30% of the stick or club. That's where all the power is. The more that you get down here, the less power. So if you have to block or deflect or even just move in on a weapon, you want to get as close to the hand as possible. Yeah, this is going to be annoying, getting hit by this, but it's not going to hurt anywhere near as much as this. This is the dangerous spot. This is where all the power is. And you don't want to get hit by the power end. The other thing is, you have to with the knife, you have to read the body language. If somebody's here and they start talking back, for some people talk back here because they think there's more power. Yes, there is more power, but it takes a slight bit longer for somebody to strike from here. A trained person can strike in a very, tight motion and do a lot of damage. Because a lot of it has to do with wrist motion and how they're using their hips to generate power. The untrained person will take big swings. So if you get lucky and you get an untrained person, which is never lucky to begin with dealing with weapons, but for this argument's sake, this hand comes up. As the hand starts coming up here, you're moving, but you can stop it here. Or if it's a heavy blunt weapon and they swing, they miss, You are on them. You are gluing yourself on them, and you're doing your different combative strength. Now, I'm not showing you anything real specific in this video. Me, it's more important to understand the concept. Again, whenever somebody has a weapon, though, we're getting out as quick as possible. That's real self-defense. It's not having to engage in the physical activity if we can avoid it all the time. But again, the stick is so brutally fast, and we're going to watch it. Especially if somebody that has a little bit of stick training, they are extremely dangerous. And all you can do is keep that distance. And again, go back to that 21-foot rule in 1.5 seconds. If somebody was that far away, they have a stick, and they want to get on you, there's not a whole lot you can do unless, you're really good at situational awareness and watching what your body's doing, and you can just tell something's going to happen, and you got to get on them, right? The best thing you can do is, especially with a blunt weapon, is get as close as possible to here, not here. So really, you either have to be outside of the striking range and close the distance, or get into the striking range where you're blocking here or here. Now, even if the arm wraps around and it hits you in the back of the head or the arm or back or shoulder, you know what? It's not going to hurt anywhere near as much as it normally would, because you're going to have an adrenaline rush. You got to realize that with self-defense. The person that has a weapon, they're mad at you. They are, for somebody to want to use a weapon on you, they mean business, they're mad, they got the adrenaline rush, and they're not going to feel as much pain as they normally would. Same with you. When you get that adrenaline rush, you're not going to feel that much pain. That little bit of a hit with the middle or this part of the stick is not going to hurt you. Now, the third weapon I want to discuss is the modern firearm. This is obviously a 9mm Glock semi-automatic pistol. Obviously, this is not a real one. It's more a practice one. Even though we practice, we never put the finger in the trigger. But here's the thing with the gun. And you need to really know the anatomy of the gun. Mainly what you need to know is two things. Trigger, don't ever put your finger in there. And this is the business end. The muzzle, where this is the thing that's pointing at you, this is the line of fire. You need to get out of that line of fire. Now with the gun, has a huge advantage of distance. You can be several feet away and somebody can shoot you. But here's the thing, not everybody is well trained with firearm. It actually takes a lot of training to be proficient with a firearm. Now, with semi-automatics and fully automatics, which here in Canada is illegal to have a fully automatic, which basically means you pull the trigger, hold it, and just start firing. A semi-auto, you actually have to keep pulling the trigger. But how many times can you go pop, 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 right? It doesn't take much to pop, 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 pop. Now, with the semi-automatic and the automatic weapons, what makes them so dangerous is that the person doesn't have to be terribly accurate, really. They can literally just pop, 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 pop. Or the semi-automatic, pop, 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 pop. Or, sorry, fully automatic, full trigger, they can just start spraying. Or if it's where it's like one shot and have to reload, or have to manually put a new cartridge in the chamber. One shot, if they miss, you got a couple seconds. Depends on how fast, depends on the nature of the gun. Both things, with these things, they can fire off fast and they can pull that trigger back. So they don't have to be terribly accurate. That's the really scary thing, especially that's why, mass shooting, they'll use semi-automatic and automatic, because basically they can spray their, the victim or the crowd, they can hit a lot of people with really no effort. Now statistically though, and I don't want to rely on statistics, if somebody's holding you at gunpoint, and they didn't want your wallet or something along that line, most likely you're going to survive, according to the statistic. I don't ever trust statistics. Again, my finger's not on the trigger button. But the thing is, statistically, if somebody wants your wallet, that goes with any weapon as well. If anybody wants your wallet or purse someone online, nothing in your world or your person is worth it, just give them. But if you have a fear that your life is on the line, you're going to have to react real quick. You're going to have to deflect that weapon and control it. Again, you want to get off the line of fire of the pistol. Now with that, you want to push the arm across. I always talk about body defense and hand defense. I'm going to use my body and my hand at the same time. If I just rely on my body or just my hand, and that person reacts, it doesn't take much for that little finger to go boom, right? You gotta realize that. So you need to double up on your defense. You gotta move, strike, control as fast as you can. And there's a lot of good gun self-defense out there. There's also a lot of bad ones where people might get out of the line of fire, and they'll start doing another technique where suddenly they bring the guns across their body again. Once you get out of the line of fire, you need to do everything, never to go back into that line of fire. And you also need to realize, if you hit the person or deflect it, they might pull that trigger. And you're going to hear a loud bang. People kind of forget, when a gun goes off, and you're like, you're like right here, that can be deafening for your ears. And that alone can make you react in a way you may not want to react. It may make the shooter react in a way they don't want to react. You gotta realize that too. There's so many really scary variables. If you with any weapon defense, if you can either just give the person what they want and leave, or somehow leave before the situation ever happens, that's always the ideal. But in the worst case scenario where you can't leave and your life depends on it, you're going to have to defend yourself. You have to make split decisions. And you got to realize you can't dodge a bullet either. There's nothing in the world. I mean, for somebody to think about them shooting you, pulling that trigger, and you reacting to that, you're going to be shot well before you even hear the bang of the gun. And by then, the bullet has already hit you. Normally, the bullet hits the target before you hear the bang. That's how fast this thing goes. Like, there's literally 20 to 30 to 40,000 pounds of pressure going off of these chambers. That bullet is like going, it's faster than speed of sound. If you're gonna learn gun defense, learn simplistic one, get out of the line of fire, use your body, get out of the way as well as your hand, and never cross that line of fire again, expect loud bang. And then here's the interesting with gun defense. You may not be the only one that's in danger. If there's a crowd around you and you do some kind of gun defense, that gun might fire off and shoot somebody else. That's the scary thing. There's gun defenses where you push the gun side to side to get off the line of fire. There's also gun defenses where you actually push the firearm up as well. There's many really good gun defenses out there. And, anybody with any real intelligence, you can tell which ones are good. Another thing about gun defense, kicking. You'll see some martial art, they will, kick the gun out of somebody's hand. Really? You know how fast you have to kick? If somebody's holding you at gunpoint, and you gotta kick that gun out of their hand, the second they see somebody move, they might react and fire. And I think a lot of times, with almost any weapon, especially the gun and the knife, people get shot or stabbed out of reaction or by accident. And you're like, why? How's that even possible? Because they're reacting to you. And you also gotta realize a lot of people that have a weapon and they intend to use it on you, or they're using it to intimidate or scare you, they're in a bad place. Whether they're extremely angry, maybe if somebody is extremely desperate for money or something along that line, they, had a rough life up to this point, which is not an excuse. I'm not making an excuse for that, but that is all a possible scenario. They're not in the right frame of mind, and the little thing can cause them to fire or slash or stab. So with any type of gun defense or knife defense or anything along that line, when you go to do, and if you have to defend against it, you have no time to think. You have to react and strike and control right away and maintain control. And you're going to have to incapacitate that person to the point where you are safe to escape without any chance of them using a weapon or anything else against you. So basically the whole point of this video is to make you realize that all the self-defense stuff you see with weapons is extremely hard to do, extremely dangerous, and luckily it's relatively rare compared to like just the average scuffle with the pushing and the fist and that. Luckily, in today's time, we don't have as big of a issue as way back when with maybe some other wartime weapons and that. And then actually, most people aren't as well trained in the general public with weapons as whether a martial artist would be, or somebody was trained, very well trained in the military or police, or a person that has a gun license and they do a lot of shooting at the gun range. A lot of times those people, they don't want to use weapons against somebody else. And I find martial artists in general, we know how to handle ourselves, we know how to fight, we know combat, we know self-defense, we know how to use weapons. We don't want to use our skill unless we absolutely have to. And I think you have to take that mindset and deal with against weapons. You don't want to have to test your skill against weapons. Again, avoid it at all costs, maintain distance. If you have to use it, you're going to have to strike fast, strike hard, maintain control, get out of the line of fire, don't watch for different angles to attack, incapacitate your opponent to the point that they can't, come at you with the weapon. Or if you like this video, and you found it interesting, and you would like to have further discussions about different martial art topics on self-defense or what's effective in martial arts or comparison of different martial art styles, make sure you leave a comment below, hit the subscribe button, check out the video to your right, and let's really have a good dialogue. Let's get this martial arts dialogue going and have exchange of ideas.